Welcome to Intimacy Evolution, the podcast that helps you enjoy deeper connection and more intimacy in your relationships. I'm Brianna Carey, relationship and intimacy coach, and together with my husband Mark, a licensed professional counselor, we're here to help couples to create the relationships they crave. Relationships evolve over time, and that's okay. Let's talk about it. When we had our first child, we read about all of the first-year milestones of our developing baby. What we didn't know about was the first-year postpartum timeline of our relationship. We had a baby, but now what? We didn't feel as though we had people to talk to or discuss how our relationship had changed and how to navigate it. The isolation was even more evident after our second kiddo came along. I was dealing with postpartum depression, and we desperately craved people to connect with and a community that understood us. With this in mind, we just recently started a Facebook group for parents to have that community we wished we had had back then. This group is where you can share your struggles and successes, where you can connect with others that are walking a similar path to you, and to find support and even make some new friends. We will also share all sorts of tips for relationships, communication skills, pregnancy, postpartum, parenting, and of course, sex. And what does that even look like after having kids? You can search Intimacy Evolution on Facebook or click the link in the show notes. Now let's get into the show. Today we are talking about kind of a hot topic that I see a lot on social media right now.
Yeah.
And I know I sent you a reel on Instagram last night, and it got you fired up a little bit.
Yeah, I watched it this morning. So we're talking about default parents.
Default parent.
And this person had some great tips, but they started off the conversation about why moms are default parents. And
yes, because of maternity leave.
Yes, of societal norms, maternity leave.
Maternity leave sets you up to be the default parent. And we were both like, yeah.
There's a lot of other things that set us up to be default parents, especially women.
Yeah.
But, so what do we mean by default parent? What is that?
The default parent is the one who takes on the majority of the childcare, the responsibilities, typically the household care as well.
And it's usually default parent. The term is usually used in a negative connotation, because these are roles that are not talked about. They're not agreed upon. It's just that one becomes the default and they're forced into this role.
Yeah. Okay. The way you said forced, it just felt like,
Oh, you had a reaction to that.
I did.
That's fair.
I don't know why. It might come to me. We'll talk through it. Yeah, keep going on your thought.
But yeah, I got a little fired up because, and this might come across, I'm a male, so of course I get advantages and all this other stuff. But, women are unfortunately going to be default.
Why does it have to be unfortunately?
Well, in this context, it's often negative.
I hear you.
So that's why I say unfortunately, because people using this word are fighting back against social norms and it feels unfortunate to them. Okay. They don't like it. Okay. Because that's why I said it that way.
Yeah. Okay.
The bond that a mom has with the child, carrying a child for months and being connected, that creates the idea of default in itself.
Yeah. I'd like to spin off of this a little bit.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So you're talking about how society has painted this picture as the default parent being an unfortunate side effect of quote unquote maternity leave. is what this person shared.
Yes.
Maternity leave sets you up to be the default parent because you're with the child all the time. Also, you're the mom.
Mm-hmm.
You, by nature of our species, we are the caregiver for our offspring.
Mm-hmm.
You housed this tiny human in your body, literally connected for 9+ months.
Yeah.
Then caring for this tiny human. And I would like to counter that it is not the maternity leave or anything else that is creating you as the default parent. It is that you're upset with. You're upset with the lack of support. It's not being deemed the default parent. It's the lack of support you receive in that role.
Yeah.
That we're upset with.
I would agree. And I think even using the word default parent doesn't feel great for me.
No.
And I don't know what other word you would use, like primary caretaker, but that doesn't sound great either.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. Mom and dad, why does it have to be designated? I feel like that is, again, just our society always having to designate roles or labeling everything. And we don't need, you're the parent. Why do we need to stress about this?
Well,
and now I'm not going to lie. I understand, don't get me wrong. I totally understand the stresses of being the quote unquote default, quote unquote primary caregiver, being the at-home parent. Does that feel better? Maybe. I don't know. Would love to hear your guys' thoughts on other phrases we could spin this to have a more positive, supportive tone to it.
Yeah.
I felt this so much. I worked in direct sales for over 14 years with the primary goal of being a stay-at-home mom, because that was the role that was modeled to me growing up. I had a stay-at-home mom.
Yeah.
But I also enjoy working. I like making my own money. I love supporting other people at the end of it. That's what I loved about what I did, is I got to support women and I got to be at home with my babies. So yes, being at home meant that I was taking care of the house, taking care of the kids. I was also running a business. And so I think that that's where the frustration comes in, is that we are shown or told that we need to be doing all the things as women. I know this has been a very common theme, but I think this is going to be continuous conversation until we can deconstruct or deprogram this hustle mindset that we have instilled in women over the past 50 some years, since women have been going back into the workforce, that they need to do all of the things. And so what we need to start implementing is support. Yeah.
And so when you say that, what I think of is the kind of the light and the dark of women doing more or going back to the workforce. The light is there's definitely equality and you're capable and all this. There's a number of avenues that we want to be options for women and all this stuff. The dark is that it makes it very complicated. The other pressure that comes on women is, like you said, they have to do everything now, all the roles. And I think that's that's part of the negative aspect of that hustle culture.
Yeah. Because it's not placed upon the dad or male partner. I see this. So I have a moms, you might be familiar with this, the Peanut app. I have a group in there and I see this a lot. I work, my partner works, but when I come home, I'm doing the dinner, I'm cleaning up, I'm doing this. And my partner goes and plays his video games, or we'll go and do whatever, tinkering in the garage or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I still see that might be a challenge that a lot of couples are facing, is this quote unquote expectation that the moms just take care of everything. And that's, I think, the conversation we're going to have today is how to have the conversation about dividing the roles.
Yeah.
And feeling more support in your relationship. So you're not stressed about being the default parent.
Yeah. And I think for me, as I hear it, both partners are under, in child rearing and trying to better their life and all the other things that are happening in the world. Both parents are under immense amount of stressors.
Yeah.
And, because I feel that too. I'm supposed to do everything as well. I don't think it, I think it's I think moms are supposed to do everything and dads are supposed to do everything. And so we're much more alike than we are different. And we're really talking about our relationship.
Yeah.
Because we manage roles pretty well and whatnot. I mean, other relationship, maybe not.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's something that we've had to work on. We had to talk
Definitely.
about. And so that's what we're going to share today is like how to work through that, navigate these conversations. Because again, what it comes down to is the default parent, like you said, was placed in that role, quote unquote, unwillingly. And they feel a lack of support.
Mm-hmm. They're alone.
Like thousands of years ago, when we had children, we were living in multi-generational homes.
Correct.
Right? We literally lived in villages where you knew you had support of other people to take care of your kids. Yeah. If you had to go milk the cow or if you had to go to the market or whatever, you knew somebody was always there to help you. And we had a little bit of that when we were on our trip in Arkansas.
When we go on trips with family,
yes,
in general, we're all like, we stay at an Airbnb or VRBO and we're all together. And it's like, it's so much more divided. And so like we can shit on the individualistic culture that we have. Like we want to be strong individuals, but then like, that doesn't work very well raising families.
No,
like the collectivistic idea of the multi-generational or stuff like that we're missing out on. And it's so helpful. Yeah. Because it does provide that support. But
yeah. Well, you think about like we could go on a whole tangent about having nannies and families that, have help and stuff like that. It's not that you're like, oh, I could never have somebody raise my child. It's having the support. Like when we had our niece staying with us over the summer, it was so nice because I could literally go to a store or run a quick errand without having to load up both kids. Because honestly, I don't. Like if
she does not leave the house.
I am not a hermit, but
no, that's not the intention of the comment.
No, but what I'm saying is, if I don't have to do it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And ever since 2015, when we had our son and online grocery shopping became a thing, I said, sign me up. I am never stepping foot in a grocery store again because I don't like the grocery store.
Well, and partially you didn't step foot in a grocery store because I did most of that.
After the fact.
Yeah.
No, it was after we had Remy that you started doing that because I won't do it.
Yeah.
I won't. I don't want to. So people always think it's funny. Like they're like, yeah, I was at the grocery store and this. I'm like, oh, how was it? I haven't been in one of those in years. And that's what we're talking about is splitting up those. Like I'll do the grocery shopping online. I'll get in the car and go pick them up on my way to go pick up my daughter from school.
Yeah.
And then we come home, we unload them together. But I do not want to drag my kids through the grocery store and then they're trying to grab every single thing off the shelf. And like, that's just stressing to me. So I don't do it. So figure out what you need support in.
Well, let's break down like some reasons that it gets really hard or people really get stuck in that role of default parents. Of course we have our societal traditional roles,
right?
Which we get from our own parents and what that looks like and whatnot. And so that's definitely a big influence. And especially when there's a lack of communication of what it's going to look like when we have kids, what the roles are going to look like. So there's that whole kind of traditional ideas.
Yeah. Then you have your work schedules that you have to factor in.
Yeah.
And what does that look like?
because when it comes to work schedules, flexibility is a big part of, who takes the primary role in that moment.
Yes.
And traditionally speaking, women have a more flexible, or they seek out more flexible work schedules. And so that also leads to that idea of like the default parent being the mom. And I can say for us, like, we both have flexibility. My flexibility is not a lot less than yours, but it's a little bit less. I have a couple more hurdles I have to go through.
Yeah.
And so it does, like, a kid's sick, something like that, like it tends to fall on you.
Yeah.
Most of the time. And I look at that as definitely a flexibility thing.
Yeah. But also, if I was out of town and a kid was sick, you can make it happen.
Yeah, I can make it happen. It's just going to take an extra, 30, 45 an hour to make it happen. And and at that time, and that happens sometimes when you're out of town, they just have to wait.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember growing up, a kid got sick at school, and he might have been in the nurse all day because his parents just couldn't there.
Couldn't leave, or couldn't get a hold of him because we didn't have cell phones. And so that's the other thing, is like we're feeling like we constantly have to be attached to our phones and all this urgency. Hey ladies, I'm looking for those boss babes and mompreneurs that are listening. I remember when I used to feel constantly burnt out and not really understanding why. I then realized it's because we've been conditioned to adopt this hustle culture, which is great for work, but not great when it comes to partnership. Women have had to constantly prove themselves in the workforce and show that they can keep up with the guys. But how do you release that masculine mindset and reawaken your feminine power without sacrificing the success you've created? I got you, girlfriend. That is why I created the Boldly Feminine program with you in mind. Boldly Feminine is a group coaching program where I share the secrets to unlocking your divine feminine power. You will learn how to harmonize your masculine and feminine energies that allows you to continue being that powerhouse at work and the goddess at home. If you're ready to be boldly feminine, go to intimacyevolution.com to claim.
Hey, you can't leave out the guys here. I want to share too. Guys, do you struggle with finding other dudes that you can have deep, meaningful friendships with? I get it. I felt the same way a year ago. That's why I'm launching my own men's group coaching course called The Mature Masculine. The Mature Masculine embodies a partner that is confident, expressive, disciplined, action-taking, generous, non-judgmental, and oh so appealing to the feminine. So ladies, tell your guys about it. You won't be disappointed. Click the link in the show notes to grab your spot.
Back to what I was saying. Go to intimacyevolution.com to claim your spot, or click that link in the show notes.
So then we have personal preferences also. Some want that role of the more nurturing or the caring or the, that just fills their tank more.
Yeah.
For some people it does, for some people it doesn't. And so there's just personal differences.
Yeah. And it can change.
Age. Oh my gosh. I function better at certain ages as a parent than I do at other ages. Like I just have an easier time navigating the relationship or connecting or playing or whatever that might be.
Yes. We're going to tap into that a little bit more. So something that moms are concerned about when they have a baby is that their male partner is not bonding with the baby, and they're not going to. They're not meant to, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, the only bonding really early on that I could do was changing diapers, and is that really bonding?
Exactly. It's not bonding, it's supportive tasks that the partner can do.
And I don't know, that our children.
I mean, you can cuddle, you can still do skin to skin. The baby does have your smell and hears your voice. There are things that you can do. Now,
skin to skin and feeding. Those are the two that come to mind.
Feeding and changing. So that is one thing that I'm just so grateful that you were just I didn't even have to really ask you to do. You were just on it with this stuff. You know, I nursed both babies.
Mhm.
And so nighttime feedings, I would nurse the baby. You would, you know, especially early on when they were really little and I was using the haka, you would make sure that you'd get the haka, you would pour it into the bags, you would clean it. Then like when I was done feeding, you would change the baby so I could go clean myself up or whatever.
Yeah.
We were both up in the middle of the night getting minimal sleep,
Mm-hmm.
you know, because we made the baby together. We're going to care for the baby together. It is a partnership. And so you helped a lot, which is amazing. But yeah, there's not going to be bonding until the baby is more active, less dependent on the mom.
And breastfeeding is another great example of like a, you know, aspect that causes a mom to be a default parent. If you are breastfeeding, you know, they get their food from you. And so naturally that's going to happen more.
Yeah. And it's not that the dad can't settle the baby. The baby's not comfortable with them because they're not bonding. It's the baby knows that's not where its food comes from.
Yeah.
It's natural. And it doesn't mean that it's any less frustrating or exhausting.
Yeah.
You are valid in feeling all of that. I know I felt it multiple times because I'm like, I just want space. I want my body back. So again, having the conversations about what each other's roles are going to be and how to support each other in those roles can help eliminate a lot of the resentment.
Well, yeah, resentment and burnout. Those are the two things we hear a lot in relation to kind of like this default parent idea.
Mm-hmm.
And the last thing I was going to touch on of like how this sometimes happens is different parenting styles.
Yeah.
Are interesting because like our kids are older, the more, I don't know, authoritative parent, the one that might be the one who corrects the child first in a behavior, tends to be the default parent. And we could use some sort of example. I don't want to speak for you, but I think naturally you're a little more concerned if our kids get injured. I'll let them do something that's a little more risky than you might be comfortable with them doing.
Okay.
On occasion. I'm not saying it's across the board,
just,
but
where are you going with that?
Well, where I'm going with that is you might step in to maintain safety before I do. And so we're both right there. And you might step in to parent before I do. And that's just because you become that default there because we have different parenting styles. And tolerances. Does that make sense? Like that can also be the case.
Maybe. Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if we're agreeing to disagree.
No,
I don't know.
I'm hearing.
And if we come full circle to many of the conversations we have, it's really about some form of balance.
Yeah.
And how to correct it, how to make it better. And that is to feel like your partner is there with you and there's some sort of balance. We have different roles. You do different things than I do.
Yeah.
But most days it feels pretty balanced. Days that it doesn't,
you hear about it.
We hear about it. We have to talk about it. We have to, communicate about it. So yeah.
Yeah. And so again, this stemmed from our first child being born, and I was not diagnosed with PPD, but I feel like I for sure had it with both kids. Definitely more noticeable with our daughter, our second one. And I did go to therapy for that. But I feel like, the anxiety, the burnout, the overwhelm that I was experiencing, and I didn't understand. I'm like, but I'm a mom. This should be natural. Why isn't this rainbows and butterflies?
And moms naturally have postpartum depression.
Yeah.
Often.
Yeah. Pretty much majority.
The more we know, like the higher the rates are. Like
you call it quote unquote the baby blues if you want to, like, because your hormones are figuring itself out, but your life literally changes when you have that baby. And again, especially if you don't have the support or prepare yourself before, it's going to be a reality check for sure, you know? And so that's what we did. We had conversations about like, okay, I need support in this. When you come home, take your time, like change out of your work clothes, get situated, and like, here's the baby. I'm going to go take me time before I can come back and do anything because I needed time to decompress. We figured out that you had a 30-minute drive home.
Yes.
That allowed you to decompress and switch from work mode to home mode. And I didn't have that. I didn't have anything to switch from mom mode to me mode. You know, you're always mom, but like,
or wife mode or
wife
whatever.
mode. Yeah, whatever. And so have those conversations. Something that we talk to couples about is writing a list of, because again, like you said, we have different parenting styles. We have different perspectives of things that need taken care of in the home. And so this is something we see a lot is, you know, wife is upset because their partner is not doing things that are so obvious. Well, it's obvious to you. It's not obvious to them.
Well, and I think I want to throw in a couple kind of tidbits of information. So just to throw this out there for parents, 15 to 20 minutes is the average length of time most people need going from work to home, that type of thing. And so, you know, after COVID, lots of people are working from home. It's been great in some ways.
Yeah.
But you still need 15 to 20 minutes
to
mentally shift. And so that's a definite risk factor. If you don't have that and you come home, let's say you have a 5-minute drive and you walk in the door, for the next 10 to 15 minutes, the risk of you feeling overwhelmed, getting upset, getting frustrated, getting angry, it skyrockets.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was, but it was some person we've listened to, motivational speaker, thought leader, whatever, that said like that's what he would sit in his car for 15 minutes when he pulled into the driveway.
Yeah.
To allow himself to decompress and make that shift so he could walk in and show up, be present, and not feel that overwhelm. And so, yeah.
Well, I mean, we can talk about us.
Yeah.
Right. Like at one point when I had that 30-minute drive, and I think it was when we had Remington, I don't know when it was, but I would people all day.
I was not peopling.
You would not people all day because you were with the baby all day. As soon as I got off work, you wanted me to call you. And talk. And I'm all talked out. I'm like, I need this time for myself. And so we didn't know that at first. It took like 4 or 5 fights, couple weeks, a month, couple months to figure out what was happening. Me being peopled out, you missing people and needing that, and my need and your need not matching up. And we had some, you know, fights about that. And so
it was intense.
It all comes from, you know, a loving, caring space. It's not me versus you or anything like that.
For sure. Yeah. So back to what I was starting to talk about was each couple is going to have different perspective of things that need done or that are priorities to care for. And so sitting down together and saying, let's write out the things that we each are responsible for.
Yes.
And then write down things that you know needs to be done.
Gaps.
Gaps. Like what is not getting taken care of. Look at each other's lists. See if maybe there needs to be some reorganization, redelegation.
I like the word calibration.
There you go. That's a good one. I think that, recalibrating of duties, responsibilities, and then what's not getting taken care of and who can take those on.
And here's a little important tip that's been helpful for us is we're doing this to make improvements, not to be upset with each other. And so
this is not a scorekeeping activity.
No, and it's an opportunity to realize each other's contributions and celebrate them too. Because when you make this list, don't just make a list of the things that aren't getting done, make a list of everything. And you'll see that probably 60, 70, 80% of the stuff, maybe even more, is already getting done.
Yeah.
It's the last 5 to 10% that we're struggling with.
Yeah.
So it's a time to celebrate each other too.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just a time to fight and argue and that type of thing.
Yeah.
We want it to be a positive experience.
Yes.
The more positive experience you have with communicating with your partner, the more likely you're going to have them, the more openness there is.
Yes.
All great things. Something else I thought about is the importance of continuously doing this.
Yes, check-ins.
Check-ins. We have our weekly check-ins.
This would be good, like something like quarterly.
Yeah. Roles.
Role check-ins, you know, because life changes. Like, so for us, we take a break from sports for the beginning part of the year. But now we're starting to get back into spring sports. So daughter's in soccer, son's starting flag football.
And I think this will be the first time we have to split.
Yeah.
Where they both have things on the same day, same time, different locations, and we have to split.
Yeah.
We've never had that. So that'll be new, a new experience and challenge for us.
Yeah. I think we covered all the things that like we've done and implemented. And is there anything else?
For me, the importance of me supporting you and your self-care. When you're feeling these things and you having space for yourself is so changing. It changes my experience of our relationship. I think it changes yours. You'd have to speak to that, but
yeah, I know we've talked about this before. We talked about this in a previous episode, like the jealousy versus compersion, about the self-care. Yeah, 100%. The both parents need self-care, need an outlet of some sort. Like, I will preach on that all day long because it makes a huge difference. And so, yeah, like our role is in the morning, I do my meditation. I have my coffee while it's hot. So I don't have to reheat it 12 times. And, and you get the kids ready in the morning. You make their lunches for the day. You take our daughter to school.
Yeah.
And that allows me to have my slow integration in the morning, have me time before I get our son ready for school, get him on the bus, I get ready for the day, because then my day does get split up a little bit more than yours. If I'm getting calls from the school, or like I said, going and picking up the groceries and then going to pick up our daughter from school. And then our son comes home, and then like starting the evening process. So my day does get, chopped up a little bit more. And so having my self-care every morning has been so impactful.
Well, and I want to celebrate you with that. Part of the reason that's happened for you is your dedication to get up earlier. This all didn't happen just because, we're going to change these roles. It took us talking about the roles plus you making a change for yourself that benefits you.
Yeah.
And that was getting up earlier. Now, time change, kids, that's been a real struggle for us.
Spring break
routines. Yeah. Kids having separate spring break, whatnot.
Routines have changed just a little bit, but we're starting to get back into it. And if you are somebody that is trying to figure out how to implement new stuff into your life, new routines, habit stacking, go check out Shelby Sacco. She has the Sad to Savage podcast, and I've been listening to her since November. And it's been great. Like, literally has helped change my life because I'm able to implement things. She makes it easy to digest and implement.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
and we just started our Facebook community. Speaking of support, help, the benefit of joining early is you have a lot more opportunity to interact with us and for us to give ideas and expertise, because the community will grow and become huge at some point, and we'll have less opportunity to interact with every single person there. You can find the link for that in the show notes. It's searchable also on Facebook. So
all right, well, thank you.
All right,
Today was good.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.